Hey, everybody, welcome to Bourbon Friends. Myself, Adrian, and Martin are here to talk about whiskeys from around the world and how a Bourbon Friends can change the world. How are you guys doing?
We're doing wonderful. How are you, my friend? You're not in your usual spot. It's
No,
kind of
I
throwing
am
me off.
not. I'm at 9,700 feet in elevation hunting for elk right now.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah,
Just dedicated as hell to the Bourbon with Friends podcast. I love it,
yeah,
man.
100%.
Um,
That
Adrian,
sounds awesome.
Adrian had a fun weekend.
Did.
What'd you do?
I went to the Kentucky Bourbon Festival at the
Nice.
Look
time of
at
my
you go.
life.
I
It was
know.
so fun. I 100% bought the ticket so I could see people.
Yeah.
I didn't drink a lot of whiskey. I didn't try a lot of stuff. I probably should have, but I genuinely adore being around all those people. So
hmm
it was
And
it was awesome.
for the people who've been kind of following Adrian's journey with American single malts, I do want you to repeat what you told us before we started the
Before.
recording.
Yes, yes.
So I
So
I
so
had
her
the pleasure of attending a bottle share with some folks, and the first thing I tried was the Cedar Ridge quintessential single malt, and it was
Mhm.
probably the best single malt I've ever had.
I'm
So
so
It
proud
was
of you.
it
right,
was
it's
so good.
we're so
Man, it was
close.
so good. It was
We're
good.
so close.
So
Yeah, no, the quintessentials that Cedar Ridge does are pretty amazing. So it doesn't surprise me, and I do also feel like it's something that's bourbon people can be very adapt to, because it's just the kind of flavor profile of their single malts is very friendly to people who are maybe a little bit more into like the sweet bourbon notes and things like that. So I'm glad you're coming along. By this time next year, you're going to own Scotch. You're going to have all the single malts. So I'm proud, man. Um,
I'm hoping to do the same thing with tequila.
oh,
Oh,
I see what she's
oh,
doing. I see what she's doing. That was
sneaky,
really good.
sneaky.
Okay. Well, since you had such a wonderful segue, why don't you go ahead and introduce our guest for today?
So our guest today is Shari Baxter
Hi,
from Next
Sherry.
Century Spirits.
Hello.
Hi.
We should start snapping when we introduce guests. I don't know. I've seen people do that. I don't know
No,
why.
that's just Martin.
You
That's
shouldn't do
not
that.
never going to be us.
We don't have to do
It's
that.
like the Adams
Yeah.
family, and he
Yeah.
is wearing black.
Uh-huh. Well, welcome, welcome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here to talk to you all today.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So, if you don't mind, we'd like to ask you. So we know you're with Next Century Spirits. Can you talk a little bit about yourself and your role there?
Yes, I have been with Next Century Spirits about a year. I'm almost September 26th will be a year, so I'm almost at my anniversary. I'm the Vice President of Research and Development and Quality. So I oversee all of the scientists, all the technical crew, the engineers that work on developing our liquids, as well as ensuring that day-to-day quality with every bottle that goes out the door.
Nice.
That's awesome.
I have so many more questions when it comes to that too. Now, it's like, how many scientists? How big is this facility? What's going on? But we'll get into those questions a little bit later.
Great.
So, I do have an interesting question for you. Um, how did Seth McFarland get involved in this with you guys, and is he actually funny?
Well, Seth McFarland
Did
was
that come through?
involved.
Okay.
It did. Seth McFarland was involved prior to my time at the company, but he is a fantastic founding investor. And he continues to
Nice.
be a great founding investor, kind of behind the scenes with our Bear Fight brand, and is really helping us, giving us a place to play with innovation, which is what Bear Fight does for us.
Yeah.
Love that.
I didn't know he was like is he like a whiskey guy in general, or was it just something that he wanted to do?
I'm not sure that I can answer that. It was founded back in 2021. So a couple of years before I started with the company.
Yeah.
Okay.
He seems like a guy that would. I don't know why, because I think it's because he does like all like the big swing band kind of stuff, like on his shows. He does a lot of those kind of things. He just seems like a dude that would just be sitting back with a whiskey. So yeah, that'd be awesome. Oh, yeah, okay. Zero confirmed that he is a whiskey drinker. I kind of assumed, like I said, I sort of assumed so. So that's pretty awesome. Well, we are going to talk about the bear fight that we have right here in a little bit. We're going to actually get into it and do some notes. But I think one thing we all want to know is, where did the name come from, Bear Fight?
That I might have to defer to Ciarra, because again, that was the founding of the brand.
1 second. Let's get Ciarra in here.
Yeah.
There she
Hey,
I
is.
apologize.
there you guys.
No, you're
Sorry,
fine.
guys. I was realizing I couldn't figure out how to get in this place. I was backstage. So yeah, the name Bear Fight kind of came out of the mantra of like, what is your bear fight? We all have these moments in our lives of what seems to be like a really big deal. It could be big or small. It could be, you know, something as simple as trying to get your kids to bed and they don't want to go to bed, you know? That could be your bear fight for the day. It could be your boss who is just giving you a task that you know is impossible, but somehow you have to figure it out, you know? So, you know, it's just kind of out of that spirit of having those moments of almost frustration, but you know you're going to get to the mountaintop. The promised land is there. So that's kind of what inspired the name.
Oh, love
cool.
that.
I like that. That is really cool, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I figured you guys were just going to fighting a bear.
Yeah.
I wish.
A way better answer.
It would be simpler, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It would be.
So, on the bottle, on this lovely little bottle here,
Yes.
it says it's finished in reposado tequila barrels. Can you
I like
talk
how
a
you
little
said
bit more
that.
about that, and if possible, the distillate of maker of the tequila, or I don't know if you can disclose that, but we'd love to know if you're able.
Well, I can talk to you a little bit about how we landed with the tequila finished barrels.
Okay, yeah.
It's something that you don't see in the industry. You see a lot of bourbon finished in sherry or finished in port, traditional finishing casks for whiskey. And with Bear Fight, we want to be different. We want to push the boundaries a little bit and to explore what could be in whiskey. And so we looked at other categories. Tequila's really an exploding category right now. Reposado is amazing with that light age, having aged in ex-bourbon barrels. And so we looked at a variety of different Reposado tequila casks and then found a blend that works for us. So it's our proprietary blend of Reposado tequila casks. So we unfortunately can't tell you our secrets, but it's to match perfectly with that Kentucky bourbon base, that 3-year-old Kentucky bourbon aged in the traditional way, finished in these Reposado tequila barrels to create that unique experience.
Yeah, I had to ask. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm trying to get into tequila more. That's why, at the beginning where we were talking about that, getting into single malts and trying to understand tequila a little more. So it was just purely out of curiosity. Just to give note, the mash bill is 70 corn, 21 rye, and 9 barley. It's got about a 90 proof on it. So I don't know if you guys would like to start sampling it, or if you want to continue asking questions.
I already started. Is that okay?
Okay.
Same. I just don't have a glass.
You're drinking
Up
whiskey
here.
out of a mug?
Of course I am.
Oh, I love it.
This is why we're friends, man. I knew I liked you for a reason.
I can't take whiskey anywhere. I have to have a mug with me.
Yeah.
I need my coffee in the morning and whiskey in the night.
Mm. Or reverse that. Have whiskey in the morning, coffee at night.
Oh, no, I want to go to bed.
All right. So we doing notes, or are we just gonna drink?
Yeah, we can. I was just gonna comment on what they are. I mean, if you want to give your your expert opinion, and I can tell you if you're right or not.
All right. Do you
All
have
right,
them in
Martin.
front of you?
I have some notes in front of me. Nose, both of y'all. If you want to do it.
Yeah.
Sure. Let's
Okay, I'm great with a mug note tasting
Yeah.
right now. Let me tell you,
it smells like ceramic.
Okay, Martin, it's all you, buddy.
super.
Both
Ceramic
whiskey and
note is
tequila mix so well with coffee. You have the
Yeah.
perfect cup.
Yeah.
Well, I can say it's been
Probably
washed in
would.
coffee
I
a few
mean,
times.
This really would probably be nice, because it's got a very like I don't know. It has a very like kind of smoky feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
It does. That's coming
Is it?
from a bit of the bourbon. You get a little bit of smoky from bourbon, but a lot of that is coming from the tequila.
What do you think, Martin?
I'm actually having difficulties.
I add a drop of water into this.
Yeah, maybe I might have to do that. Actually, I don't have any. That's great. Let me see. You know what?
Failure.
And before I do these notes, I do weird notes. But I just kind of go with whatever first comes to my brain.
Great.
But he's really good usually at guessing what the description that the company that has whatever.
I might have trouble
funny.
with this one. I get
That's
like
all right.
a
You're
I get
human.
like I get like a crazy pear note for sure.
Okay. I can see that.
Even like the smoky like the smokiness is obviously less like, you know, Isla peated smoke to me. Obviously it's coming from that tequila, but it almost has like a tea, like some kind of tea. Maybe some apple. Actually, definitely green apple for sure. And even strawberry. I know it's really weird.
I get the smokiness more on the palate in the finished portion than I do on the nose. That's why I said smokiness, but I know you were doing nose notes. So the nose is toasted oak, vanilla, a touch of cloves, hint of black pepper, and cooked agave. Now, agave probably gives some of those fruity notes, maybe. Yeah.
Yep. That's that green. That's the pear and apple. That's coming from the agave character.
Yeah. See, and I'm not a big tequila drinker, so that's probably why I was having a little bit like harder of a time with notes on this. I've tried some cool tequila, but it's just usually tequila and I don't get along well. You know, I stick to the darker liquors. Those seem to be friendly with me. Wait, who's asking this next question? I know it's super professional.
Yeah, right. I think it's you. I was just checking. I was like, is it my turn to?
Okay. So we've kind of obviously done some notes, talked about the whiskey, but what are they like as far as the artwork? What was the kind of inspiration for that? Because it's a really cool bottle. It's eye catching. Like if you see it on the shelf.
With the claws, the claw marks.
I love that. Yeah, I like that.
To symbolize your bear fight, to really differentiate it. And then we went with a bold blue. So our American single malt is black, and we wanted to absolutely differentiate this Kentucky Reserve, and went with the bold blue color.
I can piggyback off of that and give a little bit of historical context since I've been around a little bit longer with bear fight than Shari. But essentially, if you look at most whiskey shelves, a lot of the bottles tend to look alike. And they really wanted to keep with the black and white because one, it's standard, but it's still bold. So it gives you that kind of, you know, traditionality to a certain extent. But the bear fight or the bear on it with the mouth open and the claw marks was a very strategic decision. We wanted to make sure that people saw it and were confused by it, quite frankly, because it kind of gives you that instinctual feeling of like, let me pick this bottle up. Like, why are there claw marks on it? And to Shari's point, it kind of ladders back to what is your bear fight? Because there are moments in our life where you just need a whiskey to take the edge off at the end of the day. And, you know, hopefully this will be your whiskey to go to for those moments.
Well, I was going to say, I think based with the price, I think the price is a very great more budget style price. And then also I very much feel like this is like a daily drinker kind of feel
Mhm.
for me.
It's-
Yes.
You hit the nail on the head, Adrian. Like, it is
Yeah.
very much so for the everyday kind of whiskey drinker. And quite frankly, it's to help bring the stodginess of the whiskey category down a little bit, because we believe whiskey shouldn't be so serious. It should really be there to consume with your friends, have a good time, maybe take the edge off. And, if you want to index into the fancier stuff, go right ahead. But Bear Fight's really for more of that casual everyday moment.
I wish more
Made
companies
some
did that, because I
stuff
feel
out
like
of
it's
the camera view.
oh you're
Damn it!
You're-
So funny. Okay.
I'm gonna keep Blue Run there because I know him.
move your tater bottles.
That's hilarious.
I also find Bear Fight to be a lot of fun. And it's a product that we can have fun with, just like exploring, going outside of that norm for finished bourbons. We wanted to do something different.
Mhm.
And we had that tequila finish to create that new experience that's still affordable and everyday.
Yeah. I think this is only my third tequila finished bourbon that I've ever had. I think. I know I had
It's actually
Balcones did one.
surprising.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I know.
surprising there aren't more out there, because both of these categories are doing extremely
Yes.
well.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're
Yes,
looking
they are.
at, the category growth for the whole liquor industry overall, beer's down, which is kind of crazy because it's always been king in the alcohol world, and liquor is really kind of surpassing everything. And you see the two really coming up almost at the same time. Whiskey's kind of had a stronger trajectory, a little bit of a longer trajectory, but tequila's starting to come up there. And so now that they're kind of playing in the same space, it makes for a very interesting innovation.
It is. I've seen over like the last 5 years, well, both whiskey, like you go to a restaurant back in the day, they wouldn't have a whiskey menu. They wouldn't have like the separate menu with like the whiskeys that they have there. And similarly for tequila, unless it was like a specialty place. Right. But in the last 5 years, I feel like more and more restaurants and bars and lounges that I go to, actually, they're focusing on that kind of thing a lot more than, craft beer is always, like you said, it's a huge thing. There's going to be 14 different IPAs on every menu, which I drink beer, drink too much beer this week. I feel full right now. But I do feel like that at least you're right that you're seeing more of that kind of come up and become kind of like a force, especially even like just the sippable aspect of it. Where people are just sipping, not vodka. Nobody sips vodka. At least I don't think so. But
yeah, there might be.
You can be surprised. They can be surprised.
Yeah. I think that's really cool to kind of put that focus on it, and that it's kind of coming up like that.
All right, so Shari, I want to get a little nerdy with you right now.
Get nerdy.
Because
love it.
I am so curious on your guys' process and your filtration work and your technology. Can you explain any of it that is not proprietary to the rest of our audience and share a little bit of knowledge with us about everything that you have there and how this company is run in such an advanced way?
So we do have a patented technology. We're the only one in the world that has this to allow us to finish products. So this is an instance where we're running our product through our technology to get the tequila cask finish. And what our technology does is it goes back to the barrel. If you think about natural barrel aging, you put your product in the barrel, it goes in and out of the wood, it extracts color, flavors, the char layer, depending on the type of barrel you use, can filter out some of those. In the case of bourbon, White Dog, it filters out some of those corny notes and really smooths out your profile. So what we've done with our technology is we've just created a system that allows us to control that barrel age. And so we work under the same premise of extraction from the barrel. We just can control the levers versus putting it in a barrel, letting Mother Nature take its course. We can control the conditions. And we can control those conditions to get the extraction that we're looking for, which then creates amazing, consistent product every time.
Well, now I want to come and visit this facility so much to see it for myself because I just want to know more. It sounds amazing.
It is an amazing tool to be able to create flavors. I mean, liquor is fun. It's supposed to be fun. We're supposed to celebrate and drink with friends and family. And this gives us a tool to create fun new experiences for people.
I mean, what you guys are doing is absolutely phenomenal. I can't wait to see what you guys are going to do in the future. And I'm just going to stop there because we may have some more questions later on about that, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask it right now. So let's.
Okay.
Adrian, can you take over before I keep talking?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So
It's that mountain air.
Yeah, it is.
So we always ask kind of an off the cuff question. At this time,
Great.
it's my turn to ask. It's not doesn't have anything to do with whiskey. So
Okay.
if you both want to answer, Shari, you absolutely have to answer. Ciarra, I will give you a pass if you don't want to. Okay. So the question is,
We need to give them background on why we do this.
Oh, well, so we always ask the squirrel question. And this all started way back when we three took over hosting this show. And I have a lot of trees in my property and a lot of squirrels that drive me insane. And so now we ask a squirrel question every show. And we've gotten some really it sounds crazy to ask a squirrel question, but it's generated some quite humorous results. So with that, where is it? If a bear-sized squirrel fought a bear, who would win?
Ooh, a bear-sized squirrel.
A squirrel as big as a bear fighting a bear.
It has they both have tails.
Whoa.
One's just a lot longer.
Yeah, one's a nub. One's
It's a pretty it could be a pretty powerful tail, but then I was thinking claws versus teeth because I don't think of squirrels as biters. They probably are.
Oh, they are.
But they eat plants, so it's a very different teeth situation.
Well, here's a question for you, Adrian. Okay, does the squirrel-sized or bear-sized squirrel, does the bear-sized squirrel have the ability to climb trees the way that it does? Okay.
It does buildings now.
I would
instead
say
of trees.
yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the squirrel. Those things are fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
The bear, I think, has got some weight on it.
Yeah.
Just remember, a bear can run 35 miles an hour on land.
They are fast.
Squirrels kind of have short arms and legs too.
Maybe this should be our new campaign.
Kind of like Adrian.
The next thing's going to
campaign video.
The next thing's going to be squirrel fight. And then you're going to have a whole line of bottlings like that.
I really think I have to go bear, though.
Okay.
I do have to go bear. I mean,
feel it
squirrels
is more
are pretty
aggressive.
vicious, but they are way more aggressive.
Yeah, they're definitely more aggressive. And I think, like Sarah said, they have the kind of the weight on them. They're like pretty muscly. I think squirrels, even if it was that big, it would be very muscly. So I didn't think we were going to get this deep into this question at all.
It's so funny, isn't it? So funny.
All right, so we'll get back to nerdy whiskey stuff, but thank you guys so much. We really do. It was just one of those random things that we decided to do one time and just sort of run with it. We've actually had some like they're saying, and your guys' answers included have been it's always entertaining. So we'll get back to the whiskey now. So we've kind of alluded and talked a little bit about it so far on the episode. Is your single malt. I am a huge single malt fan. I started off drinking Scotch. That's where I started, and I still do. It's the one I always go back to. And now, obviously, with American single malts, it's becoming something that a lot of people are familiar with, including our good friend Adrian here. She finally found one that she likes. So your guys, this has won multiple awards. I was actually reading about it and I'm super interested in it. Where do you see like the American single malt scene in like 3 years?
I think it will grow.
Mhm.
I absolutely think that it is a growing category. It adds something different to the American whiskey category. And bourbon is fantastic. I love bourbon, and my entire career I've worked with bourbon. But I think it provides that new option of something different to explore. And I believe it will grow and also evolve. Because right now you have a lot of different profiles in the American single malt category. It was just recently defined as far as what American single malt means. So I think it's going to evolve to consumer tastes, just like bourbon and our other whiskeys have. And I think it's going to be a fun place to play from a whiskey perspective.
No, I definitely do too. I mean, you'd see a lot of like the really big brands even putting out their version of an American single malt, and then you've got brands that are like even doing like independent bottling stuff like Lost Lantern, who are just doing some really cool stuff that are trying to show that all these different American single malts are coming out. You're seeing peated stuff that's actually done with peat from the U.S., which is unique. Usually it's sourced from Scotland, but yeah, I think you're right. I think it's something that's going to grow. I don't think it can ever. Do you think it could ever overtake bourbon though? I don't think it ever could.
No. Yeah. Just like there's a place for rye. There's a place for a good rye whiskey. There is a place for a good wheated whiskey. Mm-hmm. There's a place in cocktails and in consumption. I don't think any of them will overtake bourbon.
No.
It's such a beast, but I think there's a place for it though on the shelf.
Yeah, absolutely. I do. It is. I mean, it is. It's like the American spirit. I mean, you think about bourbon, it's like, but yeah, I do hope it gets a little bit bigger. It's fun to watch people that I know who swore up and down they would never drink single malt. They don't like single malt. Here we are.
How dare you, Martin? I feel like single malts, at least from what I've had the pleasure of trying at this point, it's much more lighter, fruitier type of liquor. It's not, got those heavier oak and toffee caramel things to it like bourbon does. It's just definitely lighter and fresher, that kind of thing. So if that's
absolutely,
that's what you're into.
Now I need to try your guys' American single malt. I'm gonna have to look for it.
It makes two of us, Martin. That sounds amazing.
We'll make sure you guys get a bottle. Don't worry.
Thank you. So I do have a personal question for both of you guys. So this goes to both of you guys. We both now know that you guys like to drink whiskey, or we hope you guys like to drink whiskey.
You would assume so, yeah.
Yeah, we would assume. But what is your favorite type of whiskey you personally like to drink that's not Bear Fight?
I'm a Scotch drinker, and that has absolutely evolved over time. When I started in the industry 17 years ago, I started out with Canadian, moved to Jack Daniels, and then moved into Kentucky bourbon. And probably the last 3 to 5 years, I've migrated into Scotch, exploring the smoky and then the milder for days that I don't want to smoke bomb of an Islay Scotch. But I'm enjoying the journey right now of Scotch.
Nice.
Very nice.
Asking me to pick a favorite is like asking me to pick which one of my children I love the most. So I think that's a really hard question. I think I'm going to do it by category, if that's okay.
I was going to say, what's your favorite, bourbon, rye?
Picking a rye, I'd probably pick High West. I'd probably do the double rye for High West. Absolutely love that. Makes a great Manhattan on it. Like, honestly, it's so good.
Yes.
If I'm going to pick a Scotch, I'd probably pick the Glenlivet 14 year with the cognac cask. just chef's kiss. Like, you don't need anything with it. I could just drink that all day long. And then bourbon, I guess, I'd have to go with Old Faithful Woodford. Chris Morris really did his homework there, and I've got to pay respect to that man. He's a legend.
Woodford.
He's a great, and it's just something that I always think of the Kentucky Derby every time I have a mint julep when I sip on it.
Oh,
Love.
that sounds amazing. All right. Well, you guys gave both amazing answers. Martin and I are absolutely obsessed with Scotch and single malts, and then we're involved in some whiskey and other areas as well, you could say.
Yeah.
But thank you guys for giving those answers, and that was just perfect.
I don't think I've had the cognac cask from Glenlivet. Now that I'm thinking about it,
I have. I'll send you some.
okay.
If you're into Scotch, it's definitely good. And honestly, like, I've put it over vanilla ice cream, and it's. I know that sounds terrible, but it's
that sounds so good.
Not at all. Not at all.
Like, it's a whole nother experience.
I think Adrian's going to do that.
You know what? Listen, I have vanilla ice cream. I'm just thinking, what can I pour on some vanilla ice cream tonight? I never even thought about that.
That does sound
I
good.
can't believe that. Anyway,
I did it once.
Oh yeah.
I did it with. I did it with. The Edredor that I have. The Edredor 12. It's finished in. The fuck is it finished in? Sauternes. That's what it's finished in. So it's just, I just felt like it was already a dessert wine. So I was like, I wonder if it'll work with dessert. So I tried it over.
You guys kind of know what I have. Maybe you can help me pick something after we get finished, what I can pour on some vanilla ice cream. With that, though, we usually always like to ask this question also, and we really love hearing about people's favorite memories associated with whiskey. So it can be anything. It can be from when you were a kid. I know we typically aren't drinking whiskey when we're kids, but you just never know if there's a memory that's fixed on someone that was special in your life. So take it away. Let us know what your favorite whiskey memory is.
Oh, wow. Probably why I started drinking whiskey.
Okay.
My dad drank 7-7s. So Seagram 7 and 7-Up.
Yep.
And it was, of course, when I turned 21, that was my gateway whiskey. Drinking 7-7s, kind of migrating into Crown and 7, because Crown was a little easier to find at that point. And then just slowly evolving into more bold whiskeys. But I think getting started with my dad drinking 7-7s, and why not? That's a great place to start. So we should start somewhere.
Yeah, I love that. Love that. What about you, Ciarra?
I'd have to say it's actually my grandpa, but he wasn't a bourbon drinker. He was more of a Scotch drinker, and he'd always have a different Scotch. It was never the same bottle. He was not an aficionado by any means. I think he was just trying things. And so I used to like to smell the corks all the time. And I was like, I just can't wait till I'm 21 so I can try this too.
I love that. I love that.
Meanwhile, I'm stealing Glenfiddich off my dad's whiskey bar when I was like 14.
That's why I'm saying it could be when you were a kid, you never know.
Well, I've told that story. I mean, like, because I stole it. He found out that I had taken it because he measured and I didn't know that. And now that's he and I's like nostalgic drink. So like whenever we get together, because my parents are from Scotland. So whenever we get together, we drink a little dram of Glenfiddich 12 together because it's just like kind of like a memory thing. So, and now I'm actually of age to drink it. So.
You are
just a few years,
just 19 years. All right, I think that's it for questions, isn't it?
Well, I got one more question, and this is something that we should have asked before the favorite whiskey question, but What's next for Bear Fight?
Yeah.
Ooh. Well, what would you like to see next for Bear Fight? What is there something you love to see in whiskey that you haven't seen yet?
You're at
Oh God, that's a
Well, I'll
that's a
tell you,
tough-
my favorite thing is anything double oaks or I just heard about this weekend there was a triple oak I caught wind of, and what else?
Who's making that?
The double barrel. There was something. Woodford had a double oak or something like that, and then
Mhm.
Angel's
double.
Envy.
Yep.
Yeah, Angel's Envy has a triple oak. So that for me, that you would reel me in with that personally.
Well, something unique.
Tell her about your casks.
God,
Your little
no, because I want to do that at my distillery.
Oh
No.
oh.
I thought you said cats.
But that's fine. You know what? No, definitely not cats.
I was like, what? Went outside the window?
I'm going to throw it out there. I really want someone to do a red African wood cast finish.
So just really expensive casks.
African wood. Okay.
Yeah. Oh my God. To cook with it's absolutely amazing. I love it. I did try some whiskey when I was in South Africa that was finished in it, that was made down there. I don't know if I went partially blind afterwards, but it was great. But it was, I love the flavor of that wood. The red African wood, the black wood. There's a maple, it's called a maple hookie wood.
Mm-hmm.
That if I could find ever, I would make that into something immediately.
Maple.
Okay.
What did you say?
Hookie.
Like
Hookie.
HOOKIE.
I have no idea. That's what they said it was. So
All right.
First-
This is very inquisitive over here.
I don't know why I thought it was that. I thought it was that chick
Yeah.
from Jersey Shore, but that was Snooki. That's something totally different.
yeah.
Yeah. That's not it at all.
Completely
Oh
off.
my
No.
goodness.
So mine, I think you actually mentioned earlier talking about rye, and because that's a category. I think I'd like to see. I mean, this does exist, but I feel like I don't see it half as much as finished bourbons or even finished single malts, things like that. Would be more finished rye.
Okay.
Maybe like I don't know if I've ever had a finished rye.
I would agree with you, Martin. I would agree with you. I can't think of too many finished ryes right off of the top of my head. So that's I bought a double oak rye over the weekend.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't super consider that quote finished. So.
No. Yeah, and I can't even really think of one that is done. And that's what I'm saying. I'd like to see. I don't know if they would all work. I don't know like how that would play together. Certain wines, you just never know. But I feel like certain profiles would really get would lend to like maybe a good like wine finish or something like that, or even like a champagne finish. So like some of the stuff that like Starlight does. So I'd like to see more things like that, because actually they're probably one of the only people that I know that do a lot of those kind of really weird finishing on their ryes and their I think they do a wheated as well. But yeah, I think that's what I'd love to see. I think stuff like that's so cool, just getting kind of weird with it, like how you guys did this tequila, because even tequila finish isn't normal, isn't like we're saying.
It's not mainstream. No.
Yeah.
No,
And it
there's
should
not
be.
many
Oh,
out
good
there.
though.
No, yeah, so good. It's I think it's so interesting. This one and the Balcones one that I had, both are probably some of my favorite, like unique finished whiskeys so far. So that's awesome. Well, now any more questions off the top of your head, Ryan? No? Okay.
Oh, that was about it.
Okay.
I think I'm good too.
Question though. Good question though.
Great question.
It's almost like you're a podcaster. That's cool.
Weird.
All right. So, but I think that is, I think that's it, guys. Thank you guys so much. This has been awesome. Glad we had both of you on the show and hanging out and talking about everything. For all of our listeners, please check these guys out. Next Century Spirits. This one specific again for anybody that's wondering. This is the Bear Fight bourbon. It is finished in. Can you say the name, Adrian? Because you say Reposado cooler than I do.
Reposado.
That's
You gotta
good.
say it with the TH.
Yeah,
I think. I'm trying to learn Spanish, y'all.
I like that.
Reposado.
Reposado.
Right. I guess before we sign off here, I do have to. You guys know what time it is, right?
You get to.
I do.
You get to.
Do want to say a little thank you to our sponsors. Right now, Brian is on a mountain, I assume. And we also want to give a shout out to our sponsors, 10th Mountain Whiskey. You guys can find them on all social media platforms, as well as 10thwhiskey.com. Go on there. They got a bunch of cool merch. They have whiskey. They have hats. I have a hat. And then you can find them in 41 different states throughout online distribution, as well as 28 states across the country and regular retail distribution. Again, guys, that's 10thwhiskey.com. Go on there and check them out. Thanks again for being our sponsors.
Awesome, guys. Well, thank you so much for everything that you guys have done, especially for this amazing bottle that I actually shared up here at Hunt Camp. And what I had in my glass, I had to save because that was it. I am out. Besides that little sip I had left.
Nice.
So thank you guys for sharing that with us. And thank you for coming on, talking about your whiskey, talking about your company, and giving us some inside information, even though it was very, very hidden, but some inside information on what you guys do and what's maybe coming up next with your guys' stuff. Well, thank you guys from us. And remember, everybody, a bourbon with friends can change the world. Cheers, y'all. Have a great day or night.
Cheers.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
That's it for this episode of Bourbon with Friends. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. While you're at it, leave us a review to make it easier for others to find the show. You can also check us out on Instagram at Bwfpodcast. Thanks for listening.